If you think Thomas Shelby is just a street gangster with a razor blade in his cap, this is the episode that will completely change your mind. Welcome back, Peaky fans. Today, we are breaking down Season 1, Episode 4, the absolute turning point of the first season. This is the episode where Tommy stops playing checkers and starts playing Grandmaster chess. Faced with a bloody gypsy war on one side, a psychopathic police chief on the other, and a fractured family in the middle, Tommy pulls off a series of mind-blowing maneuvers that permanently rewrite the power structure of Birmingham. But before we dive into the madness, make sure you've watched our breakdowns of episodes 1, 2, and 3. Tommy's master plan is a massive game of chess, and if you skip the opening moves, nothing that happens next will make any sense. Go watch those first, then come right back here. If you are all caught up, let's get into the absolute chaos of Episode 4. The episode opens with the Peaky Blinders' stronghold in Small Heath under siege. Tommy is away, leaving his home turf temporarily protected by only one gang member, Scudboat. Seizing the opportunity, the Lee family, the fierce, ruthless gypsy clan Tommy insulted, slips into the Shelby betting den. They completely ransack the place and brutally beat Scudboat as a message. But they aren't done. Later, Tommy is walking down the street when he notices a terrifying sight. His little brother Finn has snuck into the driver's seat of Tommy's black car playing pretend. Tommy's eyes drop to the ground. He realizes a grenade is rigged to the car. Tommy is 50 yards away, too far to physically reach him in time. Instead of running blindly, Tommy screams at the top of his lungs for Finn to get out of the car immediately. Hearing the absolute panic in his brother's voice, Finn scrambles out of the door and runs. At the same time, Tommy is screaming at nearby neighbors, children, and a mother to get back and get down. A split second later, a massive explosion rips the vehicle apart. The shockwave knocks people over, but because of Tommy's quick thinking and frantic warnings, Finn and the bystanders survive. The war with the Lees has officially escalated to a fight to the death. Now, most gang leaders would respond with immediate, mindless bloodshed. But Tommy Shelby is different. He knows that a war on two fronts, fighting the Lees while trying to expand into Billy Kimber's racetrack empire, will destroy the Peaky Blinders. He needs to neutralize the gypsies, and he decides to do it through a blood alliance. Tommy convinces his ally Johnny Dogs to set up a tense meeting with the matriarch of the Lee family, Zilpha Lee. Tommy walks right into the enemy camp, completely outnumbered. He plays on his own heritage, pointing out that he has gypsy blood on his mother's side. He pitches a wild, genius idea. Instead of killing each other, they should join forces to take down Billy Kimber, their mutual enemy. To seal this new empire, Tommy promises them a marriage. He did it because he needed John to be single for his master plan. The very next day, Tommy drags the Shelby brothers out to a desolate, muddy gypsy camp. John thinks they are there to fight the Lees, but Tommy drops a bomb. John is getting married today. Right there, in the mud, John is married to Esme Lee, a wild, fierce gypsy girl, legally binding the two warring families together in a massive peace treaty. With a single stroke, Tommy turns his most violent enemies into his personal army. Meanwhile, the shadow of Inspector Campbell is growing darker and more sadistic. Churchill is breathing down Campbell's neck to find the stolen government machine guns, and Campbell is losing his mind. He corners Tommy in a rain-drenched, empty warehouse at night. The tension in this scene is absolute perfection. Campbell drops all pretense of being a civilized gentleman. He brutally threatens Tommy, promising that if the guns are not returned, he will unleash a wave of violence that will destroy the Shelby family, lock up the kids, and hang Tommy from the gallows. Tommy, pushed to his absolute limit, actually draws his gun and aims it at Campbell's back as the inspector walks away, but he forces himself to hold his fire. He knows a dead police chief means an army occupation of Birmingham. To ease the pressure, Tommy decides to feed Campbell a sacrificial lamb. Aunt Polly reveals to Tommy that she has received an address for a local communist safe house. Tommy takes this address and gives it to Campbell. He tells Campbell that a communist organizer named Stanley Chapman is hiding there with illegal Russian funding. Tommy sacrifices Chapman to protect his brother-in-law, Freddie Thorne. But Campbell's men are brutal. They arrest Stanley Chapman and take him to the cells. In a tragic off-screen sequence, they torture Chapman so severely that his heart gives out, and he dies in police custody. Even Campbell's own officers are visibly sickened by the savagery. To cover up the murder, Campbell coldly orders them to throw Chapman's lifeless body down a flight of stairs and blame it on an accident. At the same time, Tommy's romantic feelings for Grace Burgess are completely clouding his legendary judgment. Believing she is just a loyal barmaid with a knack for numbers, Tommy takes Grace to a quiet, empty church. In the solemn silence of the church, Tommy officially offers Grace a massive promotion. She is to become the head bookkeeper and secretary for Shelby Company Limited, handling all of their legitimate financial operations. In a moment of genuine, raw vulnerability, he is completely falling in love with her, entirely blind to the fact that she is the government spy, slowly tightening the noose around his neck. But Grace herself is trapped in a devastating psychological war. She is falling for Tommy, but her duty to the crown still dictates her actions. Arthur Shelby, who is terrible with numbers, lets Grace help him look over some business ledger calculations. Arthur accidentally lets slip a crucial piece of information. The Peaky Blinders' illegal contraband is always stored in warehouses near the canal petrol boat moorings. Grace immediately passes this highly sensitive intel to Inspector Campbell. Campbell launches a massive, sudden raid on those canal warehouses, searching for the stolen military machine guns. But when they break open the crates, they find absolutely nothing but stolen whiskey and cigarettes. Tommy was one step ahead. He had already moved the guns, leaving Campbell empty-handed and furious. In a moment of pure, rare joy, Thomas Shelby decides to show mercy. He announces a temporary family truce, sending word to the fugitive communist, Freddie Thorne, that he is allowed to safely return to Small Heath to see his newborn son. But this is where the ultimate tragedy strikes. Grace Burgess is sitting in the Garrison pub when she overhears the Shelby brothers talking about the truce, confirming that Freddie Thorne is on his way to the house. Torn between her growing love for Tommy and her duty to the police, Grace makes a fateful, devastating decision. She slips away to the back room, picks up her newly installed telephone, and calls Inspector Campbell, giving him Freddie's exact location. Freddie Thorne arrives at the house, tears in his eyes as he holds his beautiful baby boy for the very first time. But the tender moment is instantly shattered. Armed police officers kick down the doors, flooding the room. They rip Freddie away from Ada's arms, dragging him out into the cold, dark night in handcuffs. Aunt Polly and Ada stand in the wreckage of the room, absolutely devastated. Polly looks around, and her eyes immediately land on Thomas Shelby, who looks genuinely shocked and horrified. But the damage is done. The entire family instantly suspects that Tommy was the one who set Freddie up, betraying his own sister's husband to get him out of the picture. Tommy stands there completely silent, taking the blame for a betrayal he did not commit. And as his eyes slowly scan the room, his suspicion quietly begins to turn toward the Garrison's beautiful new bookkeeper, Grace. The trust is broken, the family is fractured, and the ultimate war is about to begin. In our next video, we are breaking down episode 5, the explosive penultimate episode where Tommy uncovers a terrifying secret. Arthur Shelby is pushed completely over the edge, and Tommy and Grace's secret affair takes a highly dangerous turn. If you want to see how Thomas Shelby plays his final hand, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single second. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Tommy will ever be able to forgive Grace once he realizes she was the one who destroyed his family? Thanks for watching, and by order of the Peaky Blinders, we will see you in the next one.